Awesome. So thanks everyone for coming to today's meeting. This is the first meeting that we have the auto-generated tooling, so hopefully that worked well. So would someone like to take minutes in the doc today?
I can certainly do my best to fill in, but if other people want to help along the way, that'd be great.
Awesome.
I can help too.
Okay.
And it's good if anybody who's here, because I'm not sure, I can't see a list anywhere, can sort of can comment themselves into the present list.
Great. So I will just do a quick attendance since we were trying to kind of cut down on some of the time at the beginning here. So I'm Tuni Siren. We have Manil, who's a member. We have Mark Hinkle present, ED of the Node.js Foundation. Olivia. We have Maurice Hayward, who's a observer. Michael Dawson, who's a member. Tracy Hines, who's a member. Adam Miller, who's an observer. Olivia Hugger, I believe, who's a member. Let's see, Ahmad, who's an observer. Ben Michelle, who's a member. Pierre, who I believe is an observer. Sarah Conway, who's Node.js Foundation employee or Linux Foundation employee. Sarah Novotny, who sits on the board, the Node.js Foundation board. Toby Farley, who's an observer and I believe eligible for membership, which we should push through. William Kapke, who's an individual membership director and a member of the ComCom. And zibbykeaton, who is at the Node.js Foundation and Linux Foundation. Awesome. So with that, let's try to go through our reporting for initiatives and working groups. Are there any specific reports from I18N website or the like?
Sure. Yeah, for concerning internationalization, just to get everybody on the same page, Tierney and I, I wrote a consensus issue, and Tierney and I looked at it, and I sent it out to all the localization groups. As an issue, and so far the response has been positive, and yeah, we set a consensus-seeking period of a week, and so we should know if we're good to go about February 15th. And yeah, and then after that, there's just a lot to do. So
awesome. I18N. Sorry, not 18, WebSocket. Or WebSocket. Website. God, yeah. I got a notification that said PopSocket. Yeah, website.
Okay, my mic works. I was not sure. Yeah, so I think that was last week. We had our first meeting last week. So sort of a landmark by itself. And we decided that one of the first steps we need to do is we actually need to kind of analyze the current site and figure out what's the content structure, and then we can think about how can we change it. Also a couple of other suggestions that we talked about, but we did put a couple of like baseline things in place, such as how do we find consensus, when do we meet, how regularly, and stuff like that. And yeah, we have our next meeting next week, and it's going to take a while, sort of the initial period, but I think we're definitely off to a good start.
Awesome. Any other initiatives or teams or working groups that have an update that they'd like to share?
I could share some stuff on the user feedback.
Sure.
So two things of note. One, there's going to be a user feedback session at Index, not next week, but the week after. And tomorrow we actually have, during the regularly scheduled user feedback meeting, we have invited a number of people, and we'll be sort of holding our first, not in person, but sort of over the web feedback session with the people who volunteered to get involved as well.
Awesome. Any questions or other updates?
Yeah, I have a question actually. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The Node Foundation, just like on Twitter, they submitted an app showcase. I'll post a link here. Basically, it's a showcase of Node.js apps. But I thought this should be in the ComCom, but I didn't find it anywhere in the issues, or so I just.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. This is so I know a little bit about this. This is something that the Node.js Foundation is driving. They're effectively requesting that people submit kind of micro case studies for their apps and how they're using Node.js and why they're using Node.js. So there's actually a pretty sizable set of applications already in here. So yeah, we should probably promote this as much as possible and try to share it. But
yeah.
Yeah,
I thought I found it in the ComCom board on GitHub, but I didn't find anything.
Yeah, it's because when there's foundation initiatives and someone like Greg Wallace was driving the app showcase internally from the Node Foundation, they don't tend to post this stuff in the project because it's a foundation-led effort, but sometimes they'll file issues to help cross-promote it. So I'm sure Greg would love for there to be an issue filed for that.
Yeah, and this is Sarah Conway from the foundation too. Part of the reason for putting it out through the new foundation website as opposed to through GitHub or repo was just to make it as widely available and populate it as quickly as possible for people that may or may not be living inside GitHub, if that makes sense. But to Tracy's point, I think we can definitely have it promoted and have submissions that might be solicited through that channel as well.
Do we have a more long-form Node.js collection post about this as well? That would be good tweetable material.
I believe there is one.
Yeah. Once we launched it, we had a Medium post on it, and we've been promoting it on social. We have 40 apps on the website, but we have like 80 plus submissions. So we're just kind of getting through that. And we've actually hired someone to kind of help us do this, since it's been really, really popular and people have seemed to really like it and engage with it.
I'd also like to ask someone from the foundation, is the data in a consumable format? Like if the project wanted to end up using this or like using the data there to help improve itself, would that be a possibility?
Sure. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by consumable data, but we're happy to amend, refactor, however you like.
Okay, awesome.
My one other comment would be, is there some way we can get better awareness of these kinds of things? Like, the first time I heard of it was when it was announced. I'm just thinking that, some advance notice to the committee that this is coming up would help people prepare to help promote all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think is the best format, Michael?
I would think just opening an issue, well in advance, saying, we're planning to do this. Here's the details. Like, unless it's something that you don't think you can share publicly.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. So I just think an issue, in advance, it says, hey, here's our plans. Here's what we're going to do. If you want to, if you can help us promote it, that would be great, I think.
Yeah, I'm opening an issue right now just in the ComCon repo for pointing to that, and we'll make sure that Greg responds to anyone, and I'll respond to anyone I can.
Okay. Yeah, and just in the future, if you have a new one. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, in addition to that, as we get to the point where it's further along, we did present this to the marketing committee members of the foundation as well as the board and sort of a preview. And we could certainly do that for the ComCom meetings and have that be on the agenda when we're launching a bigger initiative.
I think that'd be a great idea.
Awesome. So I would like to refocus a little bit because there is one more kind of report that we have to do specifically around the moderation. Just the kind of weekly or bi-weekly report. And just the moderation team's report is no significant moderation team activity this week. But I do want to try to make sure that's a public report that we continuously have. And I can try to take care of that myself. But I do want to make sure we are having that active reporting structure. Okay. Are there any other initiative updates or reports that we would like to have? No? Okay. So I believe we can move on to the agenda now. So first item on the agenda is the mini ambassador program. Let LF know if you're interested in participating. Zibby, I believe you wanted to talk about this?
Yeah, so I posted this on as an issue a couple of weeks ago, but essentially one thing that I've heard from community members, general members of the Node.js Foundation board is kind of this idea of how can we expand Node's presence at conferences that are outside the usual JavaScript and Node.js conferences. I think one thing that we're seeing with Node is that it's oftentimes Node plus X technology. So trying to build more awareness of Node.js in really high growth areas like serverless and containers, and having folks speak at those conferences, I think will be a big win-win for just getting more awareness around Node and trying to attract more community members that way. Also kind of, beyond technology, I know that with a big value with ComCom is trying to reach people that are maybe in underrepresented communities in tech. So also thinking about adding some conferences that are really big in that area and getting more presence for Node in those different conferences as well. So essentially just looking at technologies that we're seeing high growth in Node that we should have a bigger presence in, and then also looking at conferences that are focused on underrepresented groups and trying to have a larger presence there. So I know a few folks have expressed interest and kind of given feedback on segmenting out these conferences so people can kind of pick and choose where they might want to go. Another idea that I've thought about too is a Linux Foundation project called EdgeX actually has kind of ambassadors on their website. So it shows like a brief title of who you are, what you can speak to. So people who are maybe looking for Node at different conferences can go on the page and see like, oh, this person might be a good fit for X conference and reach out to them individually. So that's kind of the gist of it. And I just wanted to see if anyone's interested in it, reply to that GitHub thread. If folks have questions, I wanted to open it up to questions or suggestions for this call.
So I'd kind of like to ask, what are the asks of an individual who participates in this?
So what we would do is just like when a conference is coming up, say to that individual, like, hey, this conference is coming up. It's about serverless. This is an area that you're interested and focused on. Do you want to submit for it? And folks can say yes or no. So it's a light lift and people can be really selective in what they want to submit for and what they wouldn't. And we can, as a foundation, help them if it's reviewing their proposal because they want another set of eyes on it, if it's just keeping them in the loop of what's coming up next for the different areas that they want to focus on, submitting talks for, those sorts of things. So it's really open-ended. It's really how much time folks have. We don't want people to feel exhausted like they have to go to every conference. They can really be selective for it. And it would just be us helping them stay in tune to what's coming up and then helping them with their proposals if they need it, or if they want another set of eyes on, if they do get submitted, they want another set of eyes on their presentation, those sorts of things.
Awesome.
Definitely sounds good to me.
Yeah, same. Does anyone else have questions on that or any kind of comments?
I just think it's rad.
So really, what's the next tangible step that you need, Zibby, in terms of moving that forward?
So just letting me know if you want to participate in it and giving me a bio and also kind of different places that you might want to speak at in the GitHub thread. I think that would be great. I will take the action to kind of segment out those conferences based on what you had recommended, Michael. And then once I have that, we can always post you on the website. And then I can also kind of reach out to you when conferences are coming up within the area that you want to focus on.
Okay. So basically, people should post in saying, hey, I'd like to participate. Here's the info, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. So I think moving on to the next agenda item, there's current initiatives review. I don't know how much of an update there is since the last agenda or last meeting. So unless someone else, Michael, you have something.
Didn't we do this?
Yeah, I just
we
took notes for that effectively of what you did earlier. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
Cool.
just in the wrong order.
Yeah, there's. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, there's a few. Well, so I think that's the report, and then current strategic initiatives review is reviewing the items that are marked as strategic initiatives. I don't think there's any update on it. That said, I think it should probably be left on the agenda for us to talk about if there is discussion to be had. Right now, I don't think there is.
Yeah, I basically made my. I thought that the earlier discussion was that, so that was the update from the user feedback side of things.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah. That was the earlier discussion. This specific issue is about reviewing and then removing initiatives as needed. So basically,
okay,
the validity of them and seeing if we need to continue them or if we need to do, change their scope or what we need to do with them in the future. I think there are a few things on the agenda right now that don't necessarily need to be because of just the badge didn't get removed. So yeah, I think that's one. So the next one is meeting review for membership guidelines. Hold on a second here. Yeah. So the next one is membership guidelines, and I believe that's Olivia started this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which number is that?
It's 234.
234. Did we discuss this in the last one already?
Okay, that wasn't in the agenda here.
It got added.
Okay, they got added. Sorry. Yes. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, looking at the list. And I also don't want to take up much time. I just want to kind of gouge. I don't know. Interest in this issue. Who would be interested to kind of try and work out a new membership policy or whatever? We'll probably have to do at least one meeting.
Olivia, I'm very interested in helping out with this. Especially because I helped write our odd and somewhat broken governance to begin with. And I think that we could definitely help. I think the discussion we'll probably want to bring back here is maybe after we've had the deep dive in a separate meeting is how I think some discussions we've had prior, but we'll have further in this meeting. That meeting in particular is sort of how do we empower everyone in the working groups under the community committee without needing to be a member of the community committee itself. Because the TSC, there's people what the community committee members are administrative task folks to help enable everyone under the community committee, all of the working groups, to remove barriers and make sure everything's running smoothly. And maybe helping start initiatives and supporting them, but not the community committee members themselves should not be doing everything. I think that was sort of the early goal. And now that we've got all of these different initiatives running, we can move towards that.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I just wanted to kind of bring it up because it didn't get a lot of attention then, which I don't know why. But yeah, anyone who's interested in kind of facilitating that can go into the issue and just kind of say, and then we'll figure out a meeting time.
Yeah, cool. I think also if anybody's interested in this too, I think something that I would probably introduce this discussion in that session is what does it mean to be participating in the community committee work? Because attending this meeting should no longer be the requirement for being a contributor. versus like doing things in the repos. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Very much agreed.
If I may
Benjamin,
just
do you
a
wanna?
second?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone, I was late. Just on the subject, thanks, Tracy. You said precisely what I was trying to say in the issues. For me, it's not, I want to stress this out. The purpose is not to deter anyone or to put off anyone. The purpose is to empower collaborators of the committee to do things in the working group and the initiatives, not to repel anyone from wanting to be a member. But one thing for me is that, well, we discussed in the meeting, but we need to set proper rules, a bit like the contributors and collaborators, and that's what it's about for me. It's not to repel anyone, it's to welcome anyone, but everyone should have a proper role and not want to be a committee member by default. So I just wanted to make this plain. There's no will to set people off.
Yep, I agree.
Awesome. Thank you for that clarification, Ben. Appreciate it. So next on the agenda is the mentorship initiative. And I know this has kind of gotten put on the back burner a couple times, I believe. But I don't know if there's any further updates since the last time we talked about it. However, I know Ahmad is on the call right now. Do you have any updates specifically?
Yeah, last meeting I was not able to attend. The previous meeting we agreed to have someone help me out from the committee to go to the other committees and go to the Node core project to tell them about the mentorship program and start gathering mentees and mentors. I opened an issue to say, to share what I have thoughts in mind, the process I want to go through. I'm sorry, can you hear me now better?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so I opened an issue to show what I have in mind because I'm not really familiar with the process, and we agreed to have someone help me out, but I'm not sure how to go about it next, and I think I need someone to talk to and see how we can push this forward. Maybe these meetings are a good place. I'm not sure.
Okay. Is there anyone who would explicitly like to raise their hand to help do that? Help Ahmad? If nobody else has the availability or time, I'm happy to try to make myself as available as possible and help you push through on that.
Yeah, but basically my question is that for now, as I can see, the draft is everyone is agreeing on the draft on how to start. So basically, maybe I should open issues on the Node projects to start. I'm not sure if I should be the one doing that or someone else. This is the point of confusion for me.
Okay.
Where I stand exactly, what's my authority, who should be doing what exactly, stuff like that.
So I'm sorry, what repo was it?
The mentorship repo.
Yeah. Okay.
I posted there, but basically we have to tell the Node.js Node project about the mentorship program to start gathering mentees and mentors, and we have to ask them to publicize it, put it on the website, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So my guess, and anyone feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this, is that you're fully enabled and there's another word I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, I do have the time, but I'm currently I'm an observer and I have contributions to Node. I'm not sure exactly.
So
I should be doing this.
My suggestion is that you have full authority to go and work as much as you want in that repo, and as to I think it was Tracy's or Olivia's point a minute ago. the projects of the ComCom don't necessarily require ComCom membership, and you've been very active and very forward on the mentorship initiative, and you have. I don't think anyone would limit you based on just being an observer of the ComCom. I don't think that's a limiting factor at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna add, like, I just say when you open those posts, just put a reference back to the discussion where it's been discussed. Everybody could see all the support you have there, and that gives them the context. But I definitely don't think we want to be inserting anybody in between.
Yeah, I think, and regarding your observer status, I think the biggest thing to remember there is just because you don't have a voting decision yet, just being mindful of as you move forward with the program itself for mentorship, that if there's something that you're sort of gated by, right, you find that you have a barrier, you need help with something, you need approval for something, which mostly should not be the case, or you need funding requests or something like that. That's where you would talk to someone. Anybody who is currently a member of the community committee should be able to help you out with that, right? We're supposed to be removing barriers for you, but we want to reduce the amount of gating that's required for you to get your work done.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So if it just if it affects the larger project by decisions that you're making within the group, it's just nice to check in, because otherwise if when you go to do a check-in at the next community committee meeting and someone goes, oh, well, that actually has ramifications to the larger project. Let's just talk to some folks about this. That's exactly why we have the check-in.
Yeah, it's always good to say, hey, as an FYI at community committee, I'm running ahead with this.
Yeah.
But not wait or think you need to have somebody else to necessarily do that stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so basically, my next steps is I'm gonna open an issue in the Node project, telling them about the mentorship program, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Okay, so are there any other questions around that one, that issue specifically, the discussion? No? Okay. So the final agenda item we have is the Node.js Africa ComCom issue, which I know there was some discussion around. I haven't really had a lot of time to check into. Does anyone that's present, I know Tracy had wanted to talk about it, but I think she had to drop or has to drop for another meeting. Does anyone who was involved in that discussion want to give some context?
So as far as I know, it is, as best as I can explain it, a sort of a call of action for the Node project to sort of, I guess, extend into sort of the African tech community more, is what I would assume. I actually, the original post of the issue, I don't know them personally, but I do know they also organize, I've started organizing a Node school in a city in Nigeria, I believe. So that's maybe where that motivation is coming from. And I think, which this might be our fault, is that the issue is kind of a little bit confused, or the author is a bit confused about what we can do. It's they're basically calling for sort of a larger initiative, which I'm not sure whether that's within our reach currently or within our abilities.
I'm just reading through this as you're writing it, and I think they're looking for something pretty heavy, and also I agree on the confused specifically about what the ComCom is and does.
That is probably our fault, to be fair.
Yeah.
Mark is on the call as well, right? So I don't know if we have anything on the foundation side that's looking to help to push into different geos. Or Zibby, I don't know if...
Yeah, I'm on the call. I don't know that able to provide a large scale initiative like that. What we are working on is the lightweight ambassador program, but it sounds like there's a pretty big delta between their ask and what we're providing. But maybe what we could do is put them into the pipeline for a potential ambassador in their area.
I think coming back with what we can do would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like here's some first steps that might make sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and I mean, there are resources that we already have that could be helpful. I don't know if we can help drive it, because like I mean, with the community committee, one of our most valuable assets right now is time, and respecting our contributors and members and their time and cycles. And there's resources we have like the meetup. I can't remember what it's called. The meetup basically handbook thing that we have in the evangelism group, but I don't think we can dedicate enough time to actually helping formalize an effort at this scale.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree with that sentiment 100%. I thought their take was they were kind of looking for some sort of nod that it was a good idea.
Yeah.
And that, if people asked us, we'd say, oh yeah, this is good. We're aware of it. And hopefully I thought I'd read one where it was like one of the two people was saying, hey, I can sort of drive this forward.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, there are other existing things as well, like Node School that it might be a better forum for this, or like scope and more what they're looking for. So yeah. Does anyone want to take on the to-do of responding to that with kind of what we've discussed?
I don't really know the resources you're referring to, but if you could send me those, I could respond in an official capacity, more or less.
Okay. Yeah, it's a meetup. It's older, but it's a meetup starter kit in evangelism.
Okay, I'll have a look at that.
Yeah.
And then maybe, Mark, if you could forward Olivia the stuff that we were talking about, the ambassador program too.
Yeah, that would be Zibby.
Or Zibby, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Olivia, I'll send you a few things, ideas I have there too. Like we're restocking our Node.js community store, so maybe it's even a small thing like sending them stickers or just things that make them feel like they're more a part or engagement with it. So I can send you over a few things as well.
Okay, assuming you have my email address, it's on my GitHub profile as well.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay, cool.
And Olivia, as you get these resources, just making a note here, it might be good to evaluate which ones might be valuable to have on the website and bring that to the website redesign committee.
Good point.
If they're not currently accessible.
I'll do that. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Is there anything else members, observers, foundation members would like to discuss during today's meeting?
I have something. I opened an issue like a month ago. Just give me a moment. One moment. Yeah, so I opened an issue about issuing badges for contributors. And it was delayed like many times. I'm not sure if we can talk about it.
Yeah, so last time at the last meeting, I volunteered at the end to help push that forward. I haven't had the cycles these past 2 weeks because of the project finishing up to really dig in and start the conversation there and evaluate to see if we need a separate repo for it. But starting this weekend, I'm opening up and free again, so I'm planning on helping to push that forward this weekend. So expect to see some activity on that.
Yeah, and for context, I don't know if you were in our previous meeting, but we actually did discuss it kind of at length in that meeting. I don't know if you were able to make it to that one or not.
It should be in the meeting minutes, regardless.
Yeah. Does that Is that enough, or were you looking for something else?
No, that's all. I just want to know the status, like, because it was in the agenda earlier and it got removed during the meeting. That's why.
Okay, cool. And is there anything else anyone would like to discuss? No? Okay, and with that, I think we can probably end the meeting a little bit early. So thanks everyone for coming. And I think we're able to stop. So see y'all next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Talk to you then. Bye.
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 Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.